Alright boys, hopefully this is working. Trying something a little new today. Usually I come out here every morning and just sit down, so I'm gonna try making a video here. Let's see how it goes. I got my tea with me as well. And yeah, I just thought I'd talk about something because usually, I'll be honest, I have some spots where I just sit down, kind of like this, where I just like talk to myself about stuff. And it makes it a lot more natural to talk about it because I'm not always looking at the camera and I can't put it down here. And I think it's a cool little aesthetic. So let me know in the comments down below if y'all want to see more, this kind of sort of tea talks, videos, stuff like that. I'll still be talking a little bit about fitness, but just other stuff around it as well that I think is super important. But yeah, let's get started, right? So today I really want to talk about making fitness a lifestyle. Now that is something that I know, very regurgitated. People say it all the time and it's probably really annoying at this point, but honestly, you have to find a way to fit it into your lifestyle, okay? You have to. I like using a lot of, because I watch a lot of anime, I watch a lot of gaming, I do a lot of gaming, and I'm also Muslim, I like using a lot of those examples because it helps you understand that you need to be able to make time because you won't find time. Understood? So, take for example, right? When you pray, you have to find the time to pray, or else it's not going to be priority. Especially when you're at places like work, especially when you're at school, it's not going to be like that. But it's crazy because we always somehow find the time for, hopping on the game. We always find time for that. We always find time to binge watch the anime all the way up until, the birds are chirping, and then we're like, oh shit, we've been up way too late. You know what I mean? So we have time, we're just not able to use it. You have time, you're just not making it. And I think a lot of that comes down to, again, one, you're not finding you're not finding a way to make fitness a lifestyle. That's the biggest issue. You have to find a way to make it a lifestyle. If it's not a lifestyle, you're not going to want to do it. So let me give you a specific example, right? I don't like doing cardio. And for a lot of you that have followed my journey, you understand that I was 120 pounds. I bulked up all the way to 190, okay? It was pretty good, clean weight. There was still some fat on me, 100%. But I did not like doing cardio. I did not want to be on a treadmill. I did not want to be doing all this, all that. You know what I mean? It's just not fun. It's really not fun. Like, I'm not putting myself through that. And so I found a replacement for it, and I just do MMA instead. MMA is so much more enjoyable. You get to feel like those, you know, sick anime characters you grew up watching. You get to feel like Goku. You get to feel like all these characters that, know how to fight, and it feels awesome. Like you have aura, you know what I mean? I know that was a little bit cringe, but you kind of get the idea. Um, but yeah, it's two birds with one stone, bro. You get in cardio, and you get in, you get in a good workout. You get in a good amount of, your heart pumping, your BPMs are up there, and that's what works for me. And you gotta scale off the intensity too. A lot of you have this all-in mentality, which is why it doesn't work with your lifestyle. It's like, I'm either gonna go all in or I'm not gonna do it at all. And that's not ever going to work. And I'll tell you why. It's because you're not ever gonna get to a point where in your schedule you're gonna be able to go all in, right? Because you're already finding it hard to make time. So how are you gonna go all in? And so you just opt for the other option, which is not going at all, because you've created a binary in here of, I'm either going to do this or I'm either going to do that. You can't have it halfway. And I get it, you know what I mean? You see it on Instagram, you see it on YouTube all the time from the influencers talking about, like, if my workout does not kill me, then I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Or some of the science bros saying, like, you don't need to kill yourself for your whole workout, stuff like that. Have 3 reps in reserve, whatever, right? It's like you don't have to follow that philosophy, or it doesn't matter how much you try to optimize or unoptimize. You're already not doing it anyway, bro. You're not doing it anyway. So it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter. So at that point, if all you can get in is 10 push-ups, that's all that matters. And even some of the experienced people will tell you, like, they'll be on vacation or something will happen, something comes up. And honestly, at that point, the point is just to get some physical activity. Now, you might have an aesthetic goal. I know you might have some of these goals that you're striving for, but some days, like, all you're going to have is 20%, and you got to give it all the 20%. You can't think that you're going to have 100% in the tank and, somehow magically give up all that 100%, because let's be honest, what ends up happening? Again, you go between the binary choice of either I'm going to go all in and do this thing, and you never end up going all in, so you choose the other alternative, which is you don't do anything at all and you don't get anywhere. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to find a way to make this a lifestyle, or else it's never going to work out. Life's going to throw too much shit at you for it to work out. Okay? It's not going to happen. Like right now, you're probably either a student or about to go into work. you know Work's going to be 8 hours a day. You're going to be sleeping 8 hours a day, which most of you don't even do at all. And so if you actually did, you'd have the mental health to be able to make something like this a lifestyle. I'm not saying have the best, most dialed in sleep possible, because even I don't all the time. Even I struggle with that from time to time. But like, at least make the intention to, or try to, you know? So I'll tell you what I tell a lot of people, and it's that stop trying to go all in and just start. And start with something that legitimately you're uncomfortable starting with, because you know that you think you can do more. I know a lot of people say set goals that you don't think you can accomplish, and that's fine. Yeah, you should do that 100%. But in terms of the actions that go up to that goal, if you can imagine the goal being somewhere at the end of a long staircase, you have to take little steps to be able to get there, right? So you might think that, oh my God, one step? That's ridiculous, Shay. I'm not going to start at that. Well, you tell yourself you're going to do either 8 steps or you're not going to do it at all. So what's better? Thinking that you're going to do 8 steps and you do none at all, or taking the one step, you know, that you're actually going to be able to take, even if it feels a little embarrassing to just do that much. Oh, you just came into the gym to do 1 or 2 exercises? Oh, you don't have a full workout? It doesn't matter, bro. You're already not doing anything, okay? So start at your own level, and that's how you're going to be able to make it a lifestyle. This is something that, again, you have to understand what the meaning of lifestyle means. It means you're going to be able to do this for life. Like you, and that doesn't mean that even when you come up with the most intricate, the best kind of routine, that you'll be able to stick with it. Because sometimes you're legitimately not going to have time because you're going to get busy with other stuff. That's when you adapt. Okay? But you can only learn to do that once you're actually in the process. And if you're not going to come into the process to begin with because you're so busy thinking about going all in, I mean, all right, bro, you're going to lose because it already hasn't worked. You know what I mean? So baby steps, baby steps. Sorry, I need some time to enjoy my tea too, you know what I mean? I don't want this getting too cold. Take some time to enjoy the little bit of the view. It's the first time you're seeing it, so you might enjoy it a lot more than, what you might enjoy if I'm to keep doing these videos. But every day is a different day, so it'll look a little different. I want you to think about it a lot like this too, right? I have this tea in my hand right now. And essentially, it's the exact same thing. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when they want to enjoy any sort of caffeinated drink, they'll make tea, or they'll make coffee, or they might even have an energy drink. They're all accomplishing something very similar. They're just doing it in a different way. Does that make sense? Fitness is very similar in that way, okay? I might talk about, preach about lifting weights and things of that nature, but you could always get into calisthenics. I mean, I was into calisthenics myself. I thought it was really cool. You know what I mean? Being able to do stuff with one hand or just your body weight, different things like that. Same exact concept, you know? And if I'm sitting out here with a cup of black coffee, I'm sure as hell not going to enjoy myself. Maybe there's a time and a place where eventually in the future I might enjoy myself, but that time and place is not right now, right? And so what I have right now in my hand is what I enjoy. And that's what I'm sticking with, which for me right now is a combination of a little bit of weightlifting and calisthenics, because I'm on a cut, after the bulk. And that's what works for me, man. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of people online telling you this is the most optimal way to do this is the most optimal way to do that. But at the end of the way, as long as you're not doing anything stupid that doesn't break your form down significantly and, kills you or anything like that, then you'll be fine. There's multiple ways to go about training. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a smart way to go about it, right? But at the end of the day, some is better than none. And I'm sure you already knew that. I'm sure you've already heard of that. But again, I'm saying you don't have to stick to all of these intricate routines. You don't even have to work out like a bodybuilder to make something like this a lifestyle. You really don't. Like even a lot of the science has found, like, as long as you just hit the muscle group, twice a week, say Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday. I'm just picking random days, by the way. Don't get too hung up on what days I'm talking about. But as long as you do that, you'll be golden. 2 full body workouts every week is a really good amount to get really good progress. And that's just lifting weights. You know what I mean? You could do the form of cardio that I hate, which is like, hate's a strong word, but treadmill, stuff like that. I'd still be able to do some sort of jogging or walking out here. Kind of like I am doing right now with the T-Talks. I'm not walking or anything like that, but sometimes I'll just, dress up in something cozy like I'm in right now, and then I'll just go on a walk because it's real nice outside and I'm enjoying this, you know what I mean? And that's also a part of it too. That's a huge part of it. That's a part of the reason why I can't sit down on a treadmill. Sit down on a treadmill. You don't really sit down, but you get the point. Walk on a treadmill, whatever, right? Sue me. Compared to walking out here, it's just way better. Like, I get to see cool birds like this. You just watch that thing fly in. That's insane. I don't even know what that is, but that's sick. You can't see that shit on a treadmill. So that's why I walk out here. It's fulfilling to the soul, you know what I mean? It not only feeds your physical, but it feeds your soul. And I know that sounds very corny, and to a lot of you won't understand. You might not be at that part of your life yet. And who knows, maybe you'll never be, and maybe you just think differently, and that's okay too. But I like doing a lot of things, even physically, that feed my soul, which is what helps me make it a lifestyle. I add some personality to it. I add some soul to it. Sometimes, I get it, I'm a Muslim. I probably shouldn't be listening to as much music. I've gotten way better about listening to degenerate music. I've talked about this on my channel before too, but sometimes I'll listen to something that bumps me up a little bit and gets me into the mood and the groove of things to want to lift a lot heavier. You know what I mean? Not that that's the thing that determines whether I'm in the gym or not. It's just something that feeds to the aesthetic, to the idea of being in that environment, which is what gives it soul, it gives it personality, and it's what helps you stay there long term.